Your greatest growth, peak performance, transformation, expansion will come from how you choose to start and end every single day. Let's talk about this thing for a second. How many of us, when we get up in the morning, the first thing that we do is we roll over, we grab our phones, we maybe don't even leave our bed, and we open it up and we start plugging in, checking in, email, social media, news, messages. And sure enough, within usually a matter of seconds or minutes, our whole entire system has become dysregulated, heightened, mobilized. Maybe we feel that pang of stress or anxiety, and before we know it, we've transitioned right into our days. And then at the end of the day, how many times do we feel exhausted, overwhelmed, disconnected, disengaged, or we just need to check out and end up back on this thing for hours potentially, rewiring our brains, dysregulating our nervous systems, and ultimately we end up in this perpetual cycle of starting and ending our days in a suboptimal state. It's almost like we've lost the opportunity to really perform, recover, and grow at our very best before the day has even started. And so there's three tools, there's three tips that I want you to think about at the beginning of your day and three at the end of your day. So at the beginning, I want you to think about how can I connect, how can I prime, and how can I prepare for the day ahead. I want to encourage you to try to do all of these things. Spend the first 30 to 45 minutes of your day without touching your phone, your computer, your email, your social media, your messages. But instead, the first thing when you wake up is simply connecting. We talk about attentional awareness, observation, meeting the body where it is. And all it takes is a couple of moments for us to just sit, lie, or stand and take a moment to check in. Maybe take a breath. Where's my body at? Where are my feelings? Where's my emotions? Where's my nervous system? Right? How do I just come back and take a moment to connect and meet my body where it is? Because the moment that we meet our body where it is, we can start to intuitively understand, what do I need? What does my body, what does my system, what does my heart and my nervous system need to be able to come back into a state of safety, connection, belonging, and trust, right? To come back to center. And that then moves us into this moment of priming. We want to prime our system. We're going to meet the body where it is, and then we're going to give it what it needs. And there are a whole bunch of surefire, scientifically proven ways that you can do this. And they are simple, not easy. Getting out in nature, right? Being able to just go and be around trees, putting your feet in the grass, maybe looking up towards the sun for even 3 to 5 minutes. We can start connecting with our breathing, right? Our breath is actually the vehicle that helps us shift and adapt and build a relationship with our nervous system. And so as we connect and meet the body where it is, we can gauge, okay, am I waking up and I've got some anxiety, I've got some energy bubbling, I'm a little bit mobilized, right in that fight or flight state, even if it's just subtle. Well, then maybe we need to bring some big and expansive breaths into our body. We need to feel that energy moving, and then maybe we bring a little bit of calmness into the breath. We transition from bigger, more energized breathing into relaxing and calm breath. And maybe some days we wake up and we realize we got nothing, right? We're exhausted. We're down in the cave of disconnection, disassociation, and collapse. And maybe those are the days that we still bring some awareness to the breath, but we start really, really calmly, breathing in through the nose, down into the belly, just feeling the sensations of the breath moving through the body as we exhale, maybe just feeling our body, feeling the muscles relax, feeling the connection. And we might just need to have some really slow, gentle, tender breaths, but we're bringing that awareness and that connection right into the breath, right into the body. The other thing that you can do every day is spend a few moments in gratitude, in appreciation, in prayer, or connecting to something that's greater than you. All of these things allow us to shift our neurophysiological state into one that is in more of a renewing state. It also allows our nervous system to feel safe because we get perspective. When we write down our gratitudes or our appreciations, or we sit in prayer or devotion into a higher power, we're reminding our nervous systems that whatever the issues are that we're facing right now, there's something bigger that we're connected to. And so all of these things help prime our system to be at its very best, to not only perform at our best, but also to move from performance states into states of recovery as well. The last thing, once we've connected and met the body where it is, we've done a little bit of work of priming and energizing our system, getting into that safe, renewing, connected space, then we want to plan, we want to prepare, and we just want to think about what's most important today. When I work with individuals, we're asking questions like, what's the theme or intention? How do I want to move into this day with intention, with purpose, so that I show up at my best? Where do I need to show up at my best? Because throughout the course of the day, there probably is only one or two places that really matter, that are the most important. And it takes a couple of moments at the beginning of the day to just sit and think about, where do I want to be at my best? Where are my peak performance bursts going to happen? And then where and how am I going to recover? Because to be at our very best, we want to have moments of peak performance that we plan for, and then we want to move into moments of full recovery. I call those recovery windows. And so we want to plan those out, prepare for those as well. Connect, prime, and plan. That's your morning. Do all of that before you even touch your phone, okay? In the evenings, we want to be intentional about our transition from the day into restoration, healing, growth, recovery. And so the concepts, the tools, the words that I want you to think about are reflect, restore, grow. So at some point, you're going to take this thing, right? Your phone, your device, all the distractions and notifications and little dopamine hits of the day, and we're going to put that aside. And we're going to start asking ourselves, what can we do? What do we need to do to reflect on the day, to capture the learnings and the insights and really understand where we came from, to restore and get ready for a really restorative, effective, juicy sleep? And then we want to grow, right? Which is a combination of those two things, taking the learnings with us, putting it into our foundation, and then getting ready, right? Priming ourselves for restoration, for recovery. So as you think about reflection, a lot of the work that I do with individuals is asking, what did we learn about ourselves today? What were we proud of, right? Was there a moment where I was like, you know what, I was really proud of what I did, how I showed up, my response, I noticed a difference. The things that we appreciate, they grow. So by writing out the things that we're proud of, even when they're the smallest things, that actually is how you help those things grow. The other thing that we could ask is, what didn't serve me, right? Did I get locked into a depleting emotional state where I was angry or frustrated or resentful or maybe sad and disappointed and I just couldn't get out of it? That's good to observe as well. We want to reflect on all of those things. What are stories or emotions or feelings or thoughts in our head that we can let go of, right? Can I write those down and give some light to those so that they don't grow and fester in the dark recesses of my mind or in my body, right? We write them down to shed light on them, to set them free. We don't need to hold on to that. Let it go. And then the other thing that we can start doing is we can shift from reflection of what did we learn, what happened, what are we proud of, into restoration. And that's going to be where we start to come back and meet the body where it is and give the body those cues of safety, connection, and belonging, starting with things like the breath, meditation, heart-focused breathing, which we've done in many other videos. We can come back to gratitude and appreciation. You literally cannot do enough heart-focused breathing or enough gratitude and appreciation, devotion and prayer when we're connecting to those things that are bigger than us. So you can do that in the evening as well. The other thing that you're going to want to do is figure out, what does your body need to really help it energetically wind down. For some people, that might be just spending some time in nature, gardening, right? Being outside, being in a sauna and a cold plunge, if that's safe and feels good. Having a bath is something that I personally love doing because it just brings all the energy and awareness and attention down. And then finally, just think about, and this isn't even the growth part, it's something you don't even need to think about. If you do those first two, if you take some time to reflect, if you put your device away and you really intentionally move into your evenings, winding down your routine as ceremony, as intentional ritual, and then you do the things that are going to help meet your body where it is, give it what it needs to come into a renewing, relaxed, peaceful, restorative state in that restore component, the growth will happen. Because guess what? You're in a state where your whole body is in healing, growth, and restoration. You're going to transition into having a really amazing sleep. We know that sleep is one of the greatest drivers of creativity, of peak performance, of longevity, of sustaining optimal performance over time. So just by taking those couple of things, right, removing the device, giving yourself 30 to 60 minutes, reflecting, restoring, and then getting ready for a great sleep, it will change the trajectory of your life. So here's what you do with this. You need to do this for at least 30 days straight. Now, the thing that I know from doing this with hundreds of different individuals and teams is that 99, probably 0.5% of individuals will never do this. It's too hard. While every single individual activity, being in nature, connecting to the land, breathing, meditating, being grateful and appreciating things, reflecting and journaling, planning, they're all simple. There's no rocket science here, but they're simple yet not easy to sustain. And so if you are one of those performers that are looking to be at your best, not just tomorrow, not just next week, but like in a year from now, in 5 years from now, in a decade from now, because so few people take their mornings and their evenings seriously, really like ceremony, like it's going to change the transformation and the evolution, the trajectory of my life, it means it is an exponentially greater differentiator for you on your journey to expand and increase your impact, increase not only that outwardly, but how you feel and how you stay connected inside. And over the course of weeks and then months and then years and decades, that will be the thing that puts you on a different continent, right? That puts you on the summit of a totally different type of mountain in terms of the journey of your life. So 30 days, it's really helpful if you can find someone to be accountable with. So find a friend, reach out to me, tell me you're doing these 30 days, and then do it together potentially, because that reminder that someone's there checking in on you, doing it with you, will be sometimes the difference on those days where your neural pathways, right, your old behaviors want to revert you back to the easier, more comfortable way, right? The thing that maybe got you here, but absolutely will not get you there in terms of the future that you want to live. So find that accountability, 30 days. Reach out to me if you're doing this. I want to be a part of supporting you, and I'm wishing you the very best. You've got everything you need inside of you already.